Did Kyle Richards leave the RHOBH reunion in tears? Kyle Richards must have felt the heat during her 14th time on stage with host Andy Cohen. The OG and her castmates gathered to film the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion on February 28, and as usual, there were many tears. A recent report claimed Kyle turned on the waterworks when her estranged husband, Mauricio Umansky, became a topic of conversation. Sources also claim that Kyle stormed off the reunion stage twice while filming the big event. However, she wasn't the only one with drama, which shouldn't surprise anyone. Things reportedly got heated between Garcelle Bavas and newbie Bozoma St. John. That's something we didn't see coming. The duo had a minor misunderstanding in a previous episode, but aside from that, they've been getting along all season. Kyle Richards reportedly walked off the RHOBH reunion stage. UC magazine shared information from their sources about what went down when the RHOBH cast gathered to film the season 14 reunion. Interestingly, the insider claimed the event was kind of boring overall, but there was some drama in the mix. Kyle Richards walked off the reunion set twice, the source revealed. She was crying half the time. The reason for Kyle's tears was a conversation about Mauricio Umansky, with her castmates claiming he has been seeing other women for quite some time. They said Kyle was lying for years and knew for years, but kept the lie going for the show, said the insider. Mauricio was also a hot topic in the latest RHOBH episode when he was caught in paparazzi photos kissing a mystery woman during his trip to Spain. Did things get heated between Garcelle Bavas and Bozoma St. John? Another teaser for the RHOBH reunion is that things erupted between Garcelle and Bozoma. The duo had a tense moment in a previous episode when Garcelle called out the newbie for constantly defending Dorit Kemsley. Dorit and Bozoma have become fast friends since she joined the show, and the other women are having difficulties understanding their close bond. Bozoma has pointed out Garcelle's hypocrisy given her constant defense of her bestie Sutton Strack. That was likely the source of the contention between Garcelle and Bozoma at the reunion. The insider didn't provide specifics, just that Garcelle and Boz were against one another. Stay tuned for more updates on the situation. The air inside the reunion set for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was thick with tension. Glittering chandeliers hung overhead, reflecting off the icy expressions and diamond-studded ensembles of the women seated in a half circle. At the center, of course, was Andy Cohen, poised to navigate yet another night of drama, accusations, and emotional unraveling. But tonight, all eyes were on Kyle Richards. From the moment she took her seat, Kyle looked different, guarded, like she was bracing for impact. The past season had been particularly brutal for her. The collapse of her marriage to Mauricio Umansky had played out in real time, splashed across tabloids, and dissected on social media. Her friendships, once solid as the Beverly Hills mansions they occupied, had started to show deep fractures. And now, in this moment, she was expected to relive it all under the scrutiny of cameras and a panel of women who were ready to pounce. Teddy Mellencamp, her longtime ally, wasn't there to back her up. Instead, she was flanked by former confidant Dorit Kemsley, who had grown increasingly distant, and Sutton Strack, who never shied away from delivering a sharp-toned critique. Erica Jane sat stone-faced, her usual theatrics subdued, while Garcelle Bovide adjusted her seat, clearly prepared to press Kyle on her inconsistencies throughout the season. Crystal Kahn-Minkoff was taking it all in, while newcomer Anna Mary Wiley observed with a mix of curiosity and caution. It didn't take long for the first emotional blow to land. Dorit, her voice laced with disappointment, confronted Kyle about their unraveling friendship. "You shut me out, Kyle. Dorrit said, her manicured fingers tapping anxiously on the arm of the couch. "I tried to be there for you, but you built a wall, and I wasn't allowed in." Kyle exhaled sharply, her eyes already glassy. "I wasn't trying to shut you out, Dorrit. I was going through so much, and I didn't know who I could trust." The conversation quickly turned to Mauricio and Andy. Never one to let a juicy topic slide, leaned in. "Kyle, you and Mauricio's separation has been one of the biggest storylines this season. Can you tell us where things stand now?" Kyle swallowed hard. "It's complicated," she admitted, her voice quivering. "We love each other, but things have changed. I never thought I'd be in this position." The vulnerability in her voice was palpable, but Erica wasn't ready to let her off the hook so easily. "I get that you're going through it, Kyle, but you've also been lashing out at people who were trying to support you." Sutton, never one to mince words, chimed in. "You were downright cruel to me at times, Kyle. And let's not forget, you weren't exactly open about what was happening in your marriage while demanding honesty from everyone else." The tension was suffocating. Kyle clenched her jaw, trying to keep herself together, but it was clear that the pressure was mounting. Then came the final blow. Garcelle, calm but unwavering. "Kyle, do you ever feel like you're playing a character? Like you put up this front of being the strong, perfect Beverly Hills wife, but inside you're crumbling." That was it. The dam broke. Kyle's face crumpled, and she let out a sharp breath before covering her face with her hands. The camera zoomed in, capturing every second as tears slipped down her cheeks. "I don't know who I am anymore," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I spent so many years trying to keep everything together, pretending like I'm fine, but I'm not. I'm not fine." Andy gave her a moment, his expression softer now. "Kyle, it's okay to not be okay, but it sounds like you need to figure out who you are outside of all of this." Kyle nodded, dabbing at her eyes. But the moment of vulnerability only lasted so long. The whispers between the other women were already beginning, and Kyle could feel the walls closing in. The pressure, the accusations, the heartbreak, it was all too much. "I need a minute," she choked out, abruptly rising from her seat and walking off set. The cameras followed as she disappeared backstage, shoulders shaking. A producer trailed behind, offering her tissues and whispered words of comfort. But Kyle barely heard them. She leaned against the wall, struggling to catch her breath, wondering how she had ended up here. So exposed, so raw, so utterly broken. Back on the reunion stage, the women exchanged looks. Some concerned, others skeptical. Andy sighed, adjusting his cue cards. "Well, that was a lot," he murmured, before addressing the cast. "We'll take a quick break." But even as the cameras paused and the lights dimmed slightly, one thing was clear. Kyle Richards wasn't just leaving the reunion in tears. She was leaving with a realization that her entire life was about to change.